Hi guys, Katie here. So today I'm going to go through part 3 of our Quarantine CAL, and today we're doing the diagonal half and half granny, and it's just a really nice kind of graphic take on the traditional granny square, and it's worked in 2 sections. So you work this first section first, which I've done in yellow, as a kind of triangle, and then we join in our second section. So you're going to want to have at least 2 colours. And if you're making the jumper, you're going to want 2 squares in the slightly looser tension. If you're making the cushion, you're going to want 1. And if you're making the blanket, you're going to want to make 4. And so, you know, grab your yarns, grab your hook, and I'm going to go through all the stages. So for our half and half square with the diagonal line across it, we're going to work the 2 halves separately. So I'm taking my first colour and I'm going to work my first half. So we start with our yarn on our hook and we chain 5, 3, 4, 5, come in through that first stitch, wrap around, pull through doing a slip stitch to join and create our central circle to work into. We're now going to do our first chain of 3 up and then 1 extra chain, so 4 chains in total, which will become our corner. We're going to now work 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles into the centre to create our first full corner. We're now going to do an extra chain and then a final treble into the centre, and that's our first row. We're now going to chain back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn our work around, and we're going to start working back through this way. So we're going to do 3 trebles into that 1 chain space, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to go into our corner chain space and do 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles. In our last space, we're going to do our 3 trebles, 1 chain, and then 1 final treble in that gap, and that finishes row 2. We're now going to turn our work again, do our chain up of 4, and in the first hole we're going to do 3 trebles, and in our next hole, in our gap here, we're going to do a further 3 trebles, and then in our corner we're going to follow our 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles, and you just want to repeat that until you have a side which will become like a triangle and you'll have 8 full rows. So you just want to keep on following that increase pattern until you've got your full 8 rows. So now we've done our first half, we're going to do our second half and we're going to join it in from the centre. So you want to take your second colour, put your knot on your hook, grab your first piece, and you want to join in the same in that central hole. Join in with a double crochet, and now to start off I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to start off and I'm going to anchor it in this first place. So this is our first sort of treble side hole here. and I'm just going to go into the top of the stitch, join it in with a double crochet, and then spin the work round, ready to start the main bit of that first row on the second side. So I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do my next full corner. So I'm going to do 3 trebles, 2 chain for the corner, 3 trebles, I'm then going to do my 1 chain, treble back down into the center, and then I'm going to anchor that treble by just going on this side, just over that chain post there in a double crochet to anchor it in. And so that gives us our first row of our second side. We're now going to work our way up, so I'm going to chain 2, I'm going to double crochet through the top of this treble posts stitch here to join it in. I'm going to flip my work round, chain 1, and then I'm going to 3 treble into that chain space below. And now into the corner chain space, 3 trebles, two chain, 3 trebles. And then we're going to come over into our chain space here. So your chain space is after your cluster, before that final treble. Into that chain space we're doing 3 trebles, 1 chain. We're now going to treble into the top of our stitch below to line it up, and then we're going to come over to side 1 and we're going to anchor it over that chain post with a double crochet, chain up 2 for your height, and here we only have to chain up 2 because the double crochet at the base is a bit longer, so we'll line us up, and then we're going to go through the top of that treble post with a double crochet to anchor it, turn our work round and begin our row 3. So 1 chain, 3 trebles in the spaces, and then 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles in the corner. And you're just going to want to work that all the way up for your 8 rows to the end. And there you have your finished half and half square. All you've got to do now is just sew in your ends and you're done.